I paid $15,000 for a family vacation at a luxury resort. I booked the penthouse suite, the spa packages, the private beach dinners, the works. And when we arrived, my mother looked me dead in the eyes and told me I'd be sleeping on the floor. Not in one of the guest rooms. Not on the pull-out couch. On the floor. Like a dog. While my brother and his wife took the master bedroom I paid for. But what my mother didn't know was that the hotel manager was standing right behind her when she said it. And what happened next didn't just ruin the vacation. It destroyed my family in ways none of us saw coming. And exposed a secret that had been buried for 30 years. My name is Olivia. I'm 32 years old, and I've spent most of my life being the invisible daughter. My brother Ethan is 35, golden child extraordinaire, can do no wrong, the sun that my parents have always orbited around. Me? I was the backup plan. The consolation prize. The daughter who existed to make everyone else's life easier. Growing up, the favoritism wasn't even subtle. It was blatant. In your face, obvious. When Ethan turned 16, my parents surprised him with a brand new Honda Accord. Silver. Leather seats. The whole parking lot at school saw him pull up that Monday morning. When I turned 16 2 years later, my mother handed me a bus pass and told me public transportation builds character. Ethan got his college tuition paid in full. University of North Carolina, out-of-state tuition, for years, room and board, everything covered. I got a handshake and a "we believe in you" speech. I worked 3 jobs throughout college. I served coffee at 6 in the morning, tutored students in the afternoon, and bartended until 2 a.m. on weekends. I graduated with a degree in marketing and $60,000 in student loans. When Ethan married Vanessa 4 years ago, my parents threw them a wedding that looked like it belonged in a magazine. $50,000. Maybe more. Ice sculptures. A 12-piece band. Flowers imported from Ecuador. 250 guests. Open bar all night. When I got engaged last year to a guy named Marcus, who treated me like I actually mattered, my mother told me she couldn't help with the wedding. They'd already spent too much on Ethan. Maybe we could do something small. Something simple. Just close family. She suggested a backyard barbecue. I called off that engagement 3 months later. Not because of the money, but because during one of our planning sessions, Marcus looked at me and said, "Why are you trying so hard to impress people who don't even see you?" And I realized he was right. I was always going to come second. Third. Last. I was tired of fighting for crumbs from a table I'd helped set. But here's the thing about being the forgotten child. You don't stop loving your family. You don't stop hoping that one day, somehow, they'll finally see you. Really see you. Not as the backup daughter. Not as the responsible one who doesn't need attention. But as someone who matters. So when my mother mentioned at Sunday dinner that it had been years since we'd all taken a trip together, that she missed the days when we were all close, something inside me sparked. An opportunity. A chance to finally do something so big, so generous, that they couldn't possibly overlook me anymore. I'd just gotten a massive promotion at my marketing firm. Senior Director of Digital Strategy. 6-figure salary. Corner office with windows overlooking downtown Charlotte. Company car. The whole package. I'd worked 70-hour weeks for 2 years to get it. I'd sacrificed my social life, my relationship with Marcus, nearly my sanity. But I'd made it. And I wanted to celebrate. With my family. So at that Sunday dinner, with everyone gathered around my parents' dining room table, I made the announcement. "I want to take us all on vacation," I said. "My treat. Anywhere you want to go. All expenses covered." The table went silent. My mother's fork stopped halfway to her mouth. My father looked up from his plate. Ethan exchanged a glance with Vanessa. Then my mother's face lit up like Christmas morning. "Olivia, are you serious?" "Completely serious. I want to do this for us. For the family." My father stood up and actually hugged me. A real hug. Not a side hug or a pat on the shoulder. He wrapped his arms around me and said, "That's incredibly generous, sweetheart." Ethan raised his beer. To Olivia, my successful little sister. For the first time in my life, I felt like I mattered. Like I belonged. Like I was finally part of the inner circle. I should have known it was too good to be true. I spent 3 weeks planning every single detail. I researched resorts across the Caribbean, Mexico, Florida. I read hundreds of reviews. I compared amenities, locations, restaurants, activities. I created spreadsheets. I made pros and cons lists. This wasn't just going to be a vacation. It was going to be perfect. I finally settled on the Sapphire Coast Resort in the Florida Keys. A 5-star property that had been featured in Travel and Leisure magazine. Private villas. Infinity pools overlooking the ocean. A Michelin-starred restaurant. World-class spa. Every photo looked like a postcard. I called them directly and spoke to a reservations manager named Patricia. I told her I wanted the best suite they had. Something that would sleep 6 comfortably. Something special. She put me in the penthouse. 3 bedrooms. 4 bathrooms. A wraparound balcony with panoramic ocean views. A private hot tub on the terrace. A full kitchen. A living room with 20-foot ceilings. $7,500 a night. I didn't even blink. I booked it for 7 nights. Then I started adding extras. Spa packages for my mother and Vanessa. Deep-sea fishing charter for my father and Ethan. Private beach dinners with a personal chef. Jet ski rentals. Snorkeling excursions. Sunset sailing trip. Couples massage for my parents' 35th wedding anniversary, which happened to fall during our trip. Every time I added something, Patricia would say, "That's a wonderful choice, Ms. Grant." When we finally calculated the total, it came to just over $15,000. I gave her my credit card without hesitation. This was going to be the trip that changed everything. I sent everyone the itinerary 3 days before we left. Color-coded. Detailed. Every activity, every meal, every reservation. My mother called me immediately. "Olivia, honey, this looks amazing. You've outdone yourself." Ethan texted me, "Damn, sis. This is incredible. Thanks for doing this." Even Vanessa, who normally barely acknowledged my existence, sent me a message, so excited. This is going to be the best week ever. I printed out the itinerary. I laminated it. I packed it in my suitcase like it was a treasure map. I couldn't sleep the night before we left. I kept imagining how perfect it would be. How grateful everyone would be. How this would finally be the moment my family saw me as more than an afterthought. I was so naive. We flew out of Charlotte Douglas International Airport on a Saturday morning. The flight was at 9 a.m. I got there at 6:30, anxious and excited. My family arrived at 8:45. Cutting it close, but we made it. My mother complained that the airport coffee was cold. Vanessa complained that the security line took too long. Ethan complained that his seat assignment wasn't what he wanted. But I smiled through it all. Once we got to the resort, once they saw what I'd planned, all the complaining would stop. The flight was smooth. 2.5 hours. I sat next to my father, who spent most of the flight doing crossword puzzles. We didn't talk much. We never did. We landed in Miami just before noon. I'd arranged for a luxury van to pick us up and drive us down to the Keys. Another $200. But worth it. The drive took about 2 hours. My mother dozed off. Ethan and Vanessa watched something on his iPad. My father looked out the window. I watched the mile markers count down, my heart beating faster with each one. When we finally pulled up to the Sapphire Coast Resort at 2:15 in the afternoon, I swear I heard my mother gasp. The property was absolutely stunning. White stone architecture with Spanish influences. Towering palm trees lining the circular driveway. Manicured gardens with hibiscus and bougainvillea in full bloom. A massive fountain in the center of the entrance, water sparkling in the sunlight. And beyond everything, the ocean. Turquoise and endless. A valet in a crisp white uniform opened our doors. "Welcome to Sapphire Coast." Another staff member appeared with a cart for our luggage. A concierge in an elegant navy suit greeted us on the steps. "You must be the Grant party," she said warmly. "We've been expecting you. Welcome. My name is Sophia. I'll be your personal concierge throughout your stay." She handed each of us a chilled towel and a glass of champagne. Real champagne. Not Prosecco. I could see the Veuve Clicquot label. My mother accepted hers with wide eyes. "Oh my." Vanessa whispered something to Ethan, nudging him. Even he looked impressed. My father put his hand on my shoulder. "You did good, kiddo. Real good." I felt like I was floating. Sophia led us through the lobby. High ceilings. Marble floors. Modern art on the walls. A pianist playing soft jazz in the corner. Floor-to-ceiling windows revealing the pool area and beach beyond. "Your suite is on the top floor," Sophia explained as we walked. "Private elevator access. You'll have exclusive access to our VIP lounge, complimentary breakfast, and evening cocktails. Your spa appointments are scheduled for tomorrow morning, and I've made reservations for dinner tonight at Maria, our signature restaurant." "This is unbelievable," my mother said to me. "Olivia, really. This is too much." But she was smiling. They were all smiling. We took a private elevator with polished brass fixtures and a chandelier. Actually, a chandelier in an elevator. We rode up to the 12th floor. The doors opened directly into our suite. When we stepped inside, I swear to God, my mother gasped again. The penthouse was even more beautiful than the photos. Floor-to-ceiling windows wrapped around the entire space, offering 360-degree views. The ocean. The resort grounds. The sunset side. The sunrise side. Everything. The living room was enormous. Plush white sofas. A glass coffee table. A wet bar in the corner. A dining table that seated 8. Modern art on the walls that probably cost more than my car. The kitchen had top-of-the-line appliances. Wine fridge. Espresso machine. A fruit basket and champagne waiting for us on the counter with a welcome card. And down the hallway, 3 massive bedrooms. The master was absurd. King-size bed. Sitting area. Walk-in closet. Bathroom with a soaking tub and a rain shower big enough for 4 people. Private access to the terrace with the hot tub. The other 2 bedrooms were slightly smaller but still gorgeous. Each with a queen bed, ensuite bathroom, and ocean views. "This is incredible," my father said, walking through the space with his hands in his pockets. "Olivia, this must have cost a fortune," my mother added. She was running her hand along the marble countertop in the kitchen. "It's worth it," I said. My chest felt tight with happiness. I wanted us to have the best. Vanessa was already exploring, opening doors, checking out every room. She was wearing her designer sunglasses inside, taking photos for Instagram. So, she called from down the hallway. "Which room is ours?" I walked down to meet her. "Well, the master bedroom is obviously the biggest and nicest. I figured Mom and Dad could take that one, since this trip is also for their anniversary. Then there are 2 other rooms that are basically identical. You and Ethan can take one, and I'll take the other." I'd thought about this carefully. It seemed fair. My parents were celebrating 35 years of marriage. They deserved the best room. Vanessa wrinkled her nose. That's when my mother appeared behind me. "Actually, sweetheart, I was thinking. Maybe Ethan and Vanessa should have the master." I blinked. Turned around. "What?" My mother was smiling, but there was something in her eyes I couldn't quite read. "Well, they're a young couple. Newlyweds, really. They should have the nicest room. Your father and I don't need all that space. We're simple people." "But Mom, it's your anniversary trip." "We insist," my father said from behind her. He'd appeared in the hallway too. "Really? We'll be happy in one of the smaller rooms." "They're not even that much smaller," my mother added. "And besides, you know how Ethan appreciates the finer things." I felt something twist in my stomach. But I pushed it down. This was fine. It was their choice. Maybe they really did want Ethan to have the master. Maybe I was being sensitive. Okay, I said slowly. If you're sure. Positive, my mother said. Ethan appeared with a grin. Thanks, Mom. Liv, you don't mind, right? No, of course not. You're the best. He clapped me on the shoulder and headed toward the master bedroom, Vanessa trailing behind him, already squealing about the bathroom. I stood there in the hallway, trying to ignore the familiar feeling creeping over me. The feeling of being pushed aside. So then you and Dad can take the room on the left, I said to my mother. And I'll take the one on the right. My mother exchanged a look with my father. A look I definitely couldn't read. Actually, honey, she said slowly. Your father and I were talking on the plane. We thought it might be nice if Vanessa's sister could join us for part of the trip. I froze. Vanessa's sister? Chelsea, Vanessa called from the master bedroom. She's going through a really hard time right now. A terrible breakup. She's just devastated. She could really use a getaway. I didn't know she was coming, I said. We wanted to surprise you, my mother said, her voice taking on that tone. The one that meant I was supposed to go along with whatever she said. Isn't that wonderful? The more the merrier. Family is about being there for each other. My stomach dropped. Mom, I only booked 3 bedrooms. Oh, it'll be fine, my mother said, waving her hand dismissively. You girls can share. You and Chelsea. You're close in age. It'll be like a sleepover. Share. I repeated. The room on the right has 2 beds, Vanessa called out helpfully. I checked. 2 queens. Plenty of space. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Mom, I'm paying for this entire trip. I think I should have my own room. My mother's smile faded. Her eyes went cold. Don't be selfish, Olivia. That's not attractive. Family shares. That's what this trip is about. Togetherness. Supporting each other. Or did you plan this trip just to show off? The words hit me like a slap. That's not, I just wanted. Chelsea needs this, my mother interrupted. Her boyfriend cheated on her. She's heartbroken. And you want to deny her a comfortable place to stay because you need your precious privacy? I looked at my father. He avoided my eyes. I looked down the hall at Ethan. He shrugged. Fine, I said quietly. She can share my room. Thank you, sweetheart, my mother said, patting my cheek like I was 5 years old. I knew you'd understand. Chelsea flew in the next morning. Vanessa and Ethan picked her up from the airport while the rest of us had breakfast. When they returned just before noon, Chelsea burst into the suite like a tornado. She was 26, bleached blonde hair, fake tan, wearing a neon pink bikini top and denim shorts that barely qualified as clothing. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, she shrieked, dropping her suitcases in the middle of the living room. This place is insane. Van, you didn't tell me it was this nice. Surprise, Vanessa sang. Chelsea ran to the windows. Is that the ocean? Holy crap, that's the ocean. This is sick. My mother smiled indulgently. Chelsea, sweetheart, welcome. We're so glad you could join us. Thanks for letting me crash, Chelsea said, though she was looking at my mother, not me. This is exactly what I needed. Kyle was such a dick. I needed to get away from all that toxic energy, you know. Absolutely, my mother agreed. Nothing heals a broken heart like family and sunshine. I stood there by the kitchen counter, holding my coffee, waiting for someone to acknowledge that I was the one paying for the healing to happen. No one did. Chelsea finally noticed me. Oh, hey. You must be Olivia. Vanessa's told me about you. Nice to meet you, I said, extending my hand. She looked at my hand like it was a dead fish, then laughed. We're family now. Come here. She pulled me into a hug that smelled like strawberry body spray and cigarettes. Van says we're roomies. This is gonna be so fun. She released me and immediately started wheeling her suitcases toward the bedroom. My bedroom. Our bedroom now, apparently. Let me give you the grand tour, Vanessa said, linking arms with Chelsea. They disappeared down the hall, giggling. I looked at my mother. She was scrolling through her phone, already disinterested. I looked at my father. He was reading a newspaper he'd grabbed from the lobby. I looked at Ethan. He was making himself a drink at the bar. No one was looking at me. The next 3 days were progressively worse. Chelsea used all the hot water every single morning. I'm talking 45-minute showers. By the time she was done, the bathroom was a sauna and there wasn't a drop of warm water left. When I mentioned it to her on day 2, she said, "Sorry, babe. I have a routine. Gotta exfoliate, condition, shave. It takes time. Could you maybe make it a little shorter?" I asked politely. She laughed. "You're so funny, Olivia." That wasn't a yes. She borrowed my clothes without asking. I came back from dinner on the second night to find her wearing my favorite sundress, the one I'd packed specifically for our fancy restaurant reservation. She'd spilled something red on the hem. "Oh, sorry," she said when I pointed it out. "I'll get it dry cleaned when we get home." She never did. She ate all the snacks I'd bought. I'd stocked up on trail mix, protein bars, and fancy chocolates for the room. Within 2 days, they were gone. Wrappers left on the nightstand. Empty boxes in the trash. When I asked her about it, she said, "Oh, were those yours?" I thought they were for everyone. She left her makeup all over the bathroom counter. Foundation stains on the white towels. Hair in the sink. Wet bathing suits draped over the furniture. I cleaned up after her. I didn't want to cause drama. But Chelsea wasn't even the worst part. Ethan and Vanessa were living like royalty in the master bedroom. They ordered room service constantly. On my tab. Breakfast in bed. Afternoon cocktails. Midnight desserts. The first time I saw the bill, it was over $800. Just for room service. "You don't mind, right?" Ethan said when I brought it up. "I mean, you said all expenses covered." "I meant the stuff I planned," I said. "Not $800 of room service." "Come on, Liv. Don't be like that. It's vacation. We're supposed to enjoy ourselves." They used the private hot tub every night. The one on the terrace off the master bedroom. The one I'd specifically looked forward to using. They went to the spa 3 times. I'd booked one appointment for Vanessa and my mother. But they added on extra treatments. Couples massage. Facials. Body wraps. Another $600. And every time I saw them, they were laughing, holding hands, walking around in the plush resort robes, completely oblivious to the fact that I was the one paying for their fantasy vacation. My mother was somehow even worse. She criticized everything. The restaurant I picked for the first dinner was too expensive. The excursion I booked was too early in the morning. The champagne I ordered wasn't the brand she preferred. "Olivia, really," she said on day 3. "This sparkling wine is very sweet. I prefer something drier. Maybe next time ask me before you order." Next time. Like I was an employee getting performance notes. My father spent most of his time at the resort bar, running up a tab, telling strangers about his successful son who worked in pharmaceutical sales. He didn't mention me once. On the 3rd night, I sat on the balcony alone at midnight, looking at the ocean, trying not to cry. I'd spent over $15,000 to feel invisible. That's when things came to a head. It was the 4th night. We'd just gotten back from dinner at the resort's Italian restaurant. Ethan had ordered a $200 bottle of wine. Chelsea had invited some guy she'd met at the pool to join us. He was loud, drunk, and kept making inappropriate jokes. My mother had sent her pasta back 3 times. I had a pounding headache. When we got back to the suite around 10 p.m., Chelsea announced that she and her new friend, I think his name was Tyler or Trevor or something equally forgettable, were going to hang out in our room. "Actually, I was going to go to bed," I said. "I have a headache." "Oh, come on, Olivia. Don't be a buzzkill," Chelsea said. "We're just going to listen to music and talk." Listen to music apparently meant blasting reggaeton at full volume with the bass shaking the walls. I lay on my bed, pillow over my head, trying to block it out. At 11:30, I gave up. I went to the room and knocked on the door. No answer. Just music. I knocked louder. The door cracked open. Tyler Trevor's face appeared. "Yeah? Can you please turn down the music? I'm trying to sleep." He looked back into the room. "She says turn it down." Chelsea's voice, Tell her to chill out. The door closed in my face. I stood there stunned. I knocked again. Harder. No response. I tried the handle. Locked. I knocked again, continuously this time. Chelsea, open the door. Go away, she shouted. God, you're so uptight. I felt something inside me snap. I went to the living room. My parents were watching a movie on the giant TV, my mother with a glass of wine, my father with a beer. Chelsea locked me out of the room, I said. My mother didn't look away from the screen. So I need somewhere to sleep. She'll unlock it eventually, my mother said dismissively. Mom, I have a headache. I need to sleep. Can you tell her to let me in? I'm not getting involved in girls' drama, my mother said. This isn't drama. She locked me out of my own room. Your room. My mother finally looked at me. I thought you were sharing. I am. But then it's her room too. Maybe she needs privacy. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. She has some random guy in there. They're blasting music. I just want to sleep. My mother sighed like I was being incredibly inconvenient. Olivia, you're being dramatic. I'm not being dramatic. I'm asking for help. And I'm telling you to handle it yourself. You're 32 years old. Fine. Can I sleep on the couch then? My mother's face twisted with annoyance. The couch? You want to sleep on the couch in the middle of the living room? I don't have anywhere else to go. This is ridiculous, my mother muttered. She looked at my father. Can you believe this? My father kept his eyes on the TV. Mom, please. Just wait until she's done doing whatever she's doing, my mother snapped. Or sleep on the floor. There are extra blankets in the closet. The room went silent except for the TV. I stared at her. What did you just say? You heard me. If you're so desperate, sleep on the floor. It's not the end of the world. You want me to sleep on the floor? I want you to stop making a scene. I'm making a scene? Mom, I paid for this entire trip. I paid for this suite. I paid for everything. And you're telling me to sleep on the floor. Oh, here we go, my mother said. I knew this was coming. You're going to throw the money in our faces. That's what this whole trip was about, wasn't it? So you could hold it over us. That's not. You wanted to show off. To prove you're successful. To make yourself feel superior. That's not true. Then stop acting like a martyr, my mother shouted. You offered to pay for this trip. No one forced you. If you're going to be resentful about it, maybe you shouldn't have. Is there a problem here? The voice came from behind me. I spun around. A man stood in the doorway of the suite. 50-something, salt and pepper hair, sharp jaw, calm eyes. He wore an impeccably tailored suit. Navy blue. His name tag read, Eric Castellano, General Manager. Who are you? My mother demanded. I'm the hotel manager, he said smoothly. I was doing my evening rounds on this floor when I heard raised voices. The penthouse suites are supposed to be our most peaceful accommodations. I wanted to ensure everything was all right. Everything's fine, my mother said quickly. Too quickly. Just a small family disagreement. Nothing to worry about. Eric's eyes shifted to me. He took in my face, the tears I was desperately trying to hold back, the exhaustion, the defeat. Then he looked at my mother. Ma'am, he said carefully, did you just tell this woman to sleep on the floor? My mother's face flushed red. That's none of your business. Actually, Eric said, his voice still calm but with an edge now, it is my business. Because this suite is registered under her name. He gestured toward me. Olivia Grant. You're the one who booked this reservation, correct? I nodded, not trusting my voice. Eric's jaw tightened. Then this is your suite. Not theirs. And no guest in my hotel, especially one who paid for a penthouse, should ever be told to sleep on the floor. My mother's mouth fell open. Now wait, Justa. No, ma'am. Eric interrupted. His voice was steel wrapped in velvet. You wait. I don't know what kind of family dynamic is happening here, and frankly, I don't care. What I do care about is that Ms. Grant is the paying guest. This is her suite. And in my hotel, paying guests are treated with respect. The room went deathly silent. Ethan appeared from the hallway, Vanessa right behind him. What's going on? Eric turned to him. Are you family? I'm her brother. Did you contribute financially to this reservation? Ethan hesitated. Well, no, but... Then you're a guest of Ms. Grant, Eric said. Which means you follow her rules. Or you leave. Vanessa's eyes went wide. Excuse me. Eric ignored her. He looked back at me. Ms. Grant, I want you to know that you have options. If you'd like, I can arrange alternative accommodations for your family members. We have several suites available in other buildings. At their expense, of course. I felt everyone's eyes on me. My mother looked furious. Her face had gone from red to purple. Ethan looked shocked, his mouth hanging open. Vanessa looked terrified. My father finally looked up from the TV, confused. And for the first time in my entire life, I felt powerful. The words came out before I could stop them. Yes, I said. I would like that. All hell broke loose. My mother exploded. How dare you? How dare you do this to your own family? After everything we've done for you? We raised you. We fed you. We put a roof over your head. And this is how you repay us. You're being ridiculous, Ethan said, stepping forward. Olivia, come on. This is insane. Let's just talk about this like adults. I'm done talking, I said. My voice was shaking, but I didn't care. I'm done being disrespected. I'm done being treated like garbage in a suite that I paid for. We're your family, my mother shrieked. Family doesn't tell each other to sleep on the floor, I shot back. This is unbelievable, Vanessa said. You're seriously going to kick us out? Yes. Over a misunderstanding, my mother cried. I was joking. I didn't actually mean you should sleep on the floor. You're being too sensitive. You weren't joking, I said coldly. You meant every word. The door to my bedroom, the one Chelsea had locked, suddenly opened. Chelsea and Tyler Trevor appeared, both looking confused and drunk. What's all the yelling? Chelsea slurred. Eric turned to her. Are you a registered guest in this suite? I'm Vanessa's sister? That's not what I asked. Chelsea looked at Vanessa, who was now crying. What's happening? Pack your things, Eric said. All of you. You have 30 minutes. This is insane, my mother shouted. She turned to me, her face twisted with rage. You're going to regret this. Do you hear me? You're going to regret this for the rest of your life. The only thing I regret, I said quietly, is thinking this trip would change anything. Eric pulled out his phone. I'm calling security to escort you to the lobby. We'll have your new accommodations arranged by the time you get there. You can't do this. Vanessa sobbed. Actually, I can, Eric said. Ms. Grant is the legal occupant of this suite. You are her guests. And she's asked you to leave. My father finally stood up. Olivia, sweetheart, please. Let's not do this. Let's just calm down and... I am calm, I said. For the first time all week, I'm actually calm. My mother's eyes narrowed. If you do this, we're done. Do you understand me? You will never be part of this family again. We will not speak to you. We will not see you. You will be dead to us. The words should have hurt. They should have broken me. But all I felt was relief. Good, I said. My mother's face went white. Eric gestured toward the bedrooms. 30 minutes. Security will be here to assist you. The next 30 minutes were chaos. My mother screamed the entire time. About how ungrateful I was. How selfish. How this proved I'd always been a disappointment. Ethan kept trying to mediate, suggesting we all take a breath and find a compromise. But his version of compromise was me apologizing and letting everyone stay. Vanessa locked herself in the master bathroom and sobbed dramatically. Chelsea kept asking what was happening, getting increasingly aggressive with me. This is so messed up. Vanessa's family. You can't just kick out family. I can, actually, I said. Watch me. Tyler Trevor wisely disappeared. My father said nothing. He just packed his suitcase in silence, his face unreadable. 2 security officers arrived. Professional. Courteous. They stood by the door and waited. When my mother's suitcase was packed, she made one final attempt. She grabbed my arm, her nails digging into my skin. "If you do this," she hissed, her face inches from mine, "we're done. Forever. You'll never see us again. You'll spend every holiday alone. Every birthday. Every family event. You'll have no one. Is that what you want?" I looked her dead in the eyes. "Yes," I said. She released me like I'd burned her. The security officers moved in. "Ma'am, it's time." They escorted my mother out first. She was still shouting in the hallway as the elevator doors closed. Ethan was next. He stopped in front of me. "I hope you're happy, Liv. You just destroyed this family." "I didn't destroy anything," I said. "I just stopped pretending it was something it wasn't." He shook his head and left. Vanessa didn't even look at me. Chelsea called me a bitch on her way out. My father was last. He stood in the doorway, suitcase in hand, looking tired and old. "Your mother's wrong," he said quietly. "About a lot of things. But she's right about one thing. This is going to change everything." "I know," I said. He nodded. And then he left. The door closed. The suite was silent. Eric turned to me. "Are you all right?" I nodded, even though I was shaking. "Can I get you anything? Water? Tea? Something stronger?" "I'm okay," I whispered. Eric handed me his card. "If you need anything at all during the rest of your stay, call me directly. Day or night. Any concern, any request, anything. I'll handle it personally." "Thank you," I managed to say. He looked at me with something like respect. "For what it's worth, Ms. Grant, you did the right thing. No one should be treated that way. Especially not by family." He left. I stood in the middle of the massive, empty penthouse. The ocean glittered outside the windows. The suite was spotless. Silent. Mine. And I started to cry. But they weren't sad tears. They were relief. The next morning, I woke up in the master bedroom. After everyone left, I'd moved my things in. Hung my clothes in the massive closet. Set up my skincare on the bathroom counter. Claimed the space that should have been mine from the beginning. I'd slept better than I had in years. I made coffee in the suite's kitchen using the fancy espresso machine. I sat on the terrace in one of the plush lounge chairs, wrapped in the resort robe, and watched the sunrise. It was the most peaceful moment I'd had in months. Over the next 3 days, I did exactly what I wanted. I went to the spa and got the full treatment. Massage, facial, body scrub. 2 hours of pure bliss. I had long, leisurely dinners alone at the resort's restaurants. I brought books. I ordered wine. I tried everything on the menu I'd been curious about. I took a private sailing lesson. Just me and an instructor named Marco who taught me how to read the wind. I went snorkeling and saw sea turtles. I took a sunrise yoga class on the beach. I slept in until 10 a.m. I did absolutely nothing I didn't want to do. And I didn't see my family once. Eric checked in on me twice. Once in person at the restaurant, just a brief, "How are you doing?" And once via text, making sure I had everything I needed. I asked him where my family had been moved to. "A standard suite in the South Building," he said. 2 bedrooms. They're paying for it themselves. "How much?" "400 a night." I did the math. For the remaining 3 nights, that was $1,200. Split among 4 adults, $300 each. It was the first time they'd ever paid for their own vacation. On the 6th day, my father called. I almost didn't answer. But curiosity got the better of me. "Hello." "Olivia." His voice was quiet. Strained. "Can we talk?" "About what?" "About everything. Please. Just coffee. 30 minutes. I agreed to meet him in the lobby cafe. He was already there when I arrived, sitting at a small table by the windows. He looked older than he had a week ago. Tired. Defeated. I sat down across from him. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. "Your mother is furious," he finally said. "I know. Ethan thinks you've lost your mind." "I'm sure he does. Vanessa's sister left yesterday. Flew home early." "Good." My father sighed. Rubbed his face. "I don't blame you." I looked up surprised. "For what you did," he continued. "I don't blame you. You had every right. Then why are you here? Because I wanted to apologize. The words hung in the air between us. We've taken you for granted, he said. For years. Decades, really. And I'm sorry. It was the first time he'd ever apologized to me for anything. Why did it take this for you to see it? I asked. He was quiet for a long time. I don't know. I guess we always thought you were fine. You were independent. Smart. Capable. You didn't need us the way Ethan did. Ethan never needed you, I said. He just took advantage of you. There's a difference. I'm starting to realize that. What changed? He looked at me. Really looked at me. You did. You stopped accepting it. And it forced us to see what we'd been doing. Most of you still don't see it, I pointed out. Your mother, he trailed off. Your mother has her own issues. Her own reasons for the way she is. That doesn't excuse it. But it explains some of it. I don't want explanations, I said. I want respect. I know. We sat in silence. Did you know, I said quietly, that this entire trip cost me over $15,000? His eyes widened. I didn't realize it was that much. I worked 70-hour weeks for 2 years to get the promotion that let me afford this. And within 12 hours of arriving, I was being told to sleep on the floor. My father looked down at his coffee. Ashamed. I'm done, I said. I'm done trying to earn your love. I'm done competing with Ethan. I'm done setting myself on fire to keep everyone else warm. I understand. Do you? He looked at me. I think I'm starting to. We talked for another hour. He told me that my mother had spent the past few days blaming everyone but herself. That Ethan was complaining constantly about the smaller suite, the lack of amenities. That Vanessa had been crying and calling me names. And then he told me something that shocked me. I think your mother knows she messed up, he said. She won't admit it. Maybe not ever. But I think, deep down, she knows. I didn't know what to do with that information. What happens now? I asked. I don't know, he admitted. But I'd like to try. To be better. To be the father you deserved all along. It's going to take more than coffee, I said. I know. On the last day, I checked out of the resort at noon. Eric personally walked me to my car. I hope the rest of your stay was better, he said. It was perfect, I told him. And I meant it. He handed me an envelope. A little something from the resort. And from me personally. I opened it later. Inside was a handwritten note and a voucher for a complimentary weekend stay. The note read, Dear Ms. Grant, in my 20 years in hospitality, I've seen many things. But I've rarely seen someone stand up for themselves the way you did. It takes tremendous courage to set boundaries, especially with family. You have my deepest respect. If you ever find yourself in the Keys again, your first night is on the house. And if you ever need a reminder that you did the right thing, please reach out. Wishing you all the strength and happiness you deserve. Eric Castellano. I cried reading it. As I loaded my suitcase into the rental car, I saw my family across the parking lot. They were loading their own car. My mother was wearing sunglasses, her mouth set in a hard line. Ethan was on his phone. Vanessa was arguing with someone over the phone. My father was putting suitcases in the trunk. My mother saw me first. For a moment, we just stared at each other across the parking lot. Then she turned away. Ethan noticed me and raised his hand in an awkward wave. I didn't wave back. Vanessa pretended I didn't exist. My father met my eyes and nodded. A small, sad acknowledgement. I got in my car and drove away. It's been 3 months since that trip. My mother hasn't spoken to me. Not once. I've heard through my father that she tells people I had a breakdown and ruined the family vacation. Ethan reached out about 6 weeks ago. He wanted to clear the air. We met for lunch. He spent the entire time explaining how I'd overreacted, how I should have handled it differently, how I'd embarrassed the family. I let him talk. When he was done, I said, I'm not apologizing. He got angry. Told me I was being stubborn. That family was supposed to forgive. I told him forgiveness doesn't mean accepting abuse. We haven't spoken since. Vanessa sent me a long text message calling me selfish and saying I'd ruined her vacation. I blocked her number. My father and I talk every couple of weeks. It's not much, but it's something. He's trying. I can see that. He asks about my life. He listens. He doesn't make excuses anymore. Last week, he told me he was proud of me. It was the first time he'd ever said that. As for me, I'm doing better than I ever have. I set boundaries at work. I say no to projects that don't serve me. I'm setting boundaries with friends. I don't accept plans that exhaust me just to make other people happy. And I'm setting boundaries with family, even if that means having no family at all. I won't lie and say it doesn't hurt sometimes. It does. There are moments, holidays mostly, when I feel the absence. But then I remember standing in that penthouse, being told to sleep on the floor, and I remember why I left. I deserve better. So that's my story. The $15,000 vacation that became the moment I finally chose myself. The family trip that ended with me losing my family, but gaining my self-respect. And I don't regret it for a second. If you've ever felt invisible in your own family, if you've ever been the one who gives and gets nothing back, I want you to know something. You're not selfish for setting boundaries. You're not cruel for demanding respect. And you're not wrong for walking away. You deserve to be seen. You deserve to be valued. You deserve to be treated with basic human decency. And sometimes, the floor isn't where you belong. It's where you draw the line. If this story resonated with you, hit that like button. Drop a comment and tell me about a time you finally stood up for yourself. And subscribe for more real stories about family, boundaries, and finding your voice. Because your story matters. And so do you. Thanks for listening. I'll see you in the next one.